Hi, I watched A Story to Read When You Fall in Love, or this drama, and here's my review. Once a model student, Junko Harumi failed to enter the prestigious Tokyo University when she was still in high school. Now 31, she still lives with her parents, is not married yet, and kind of leads an unhappy life working as an unpopular teacher in a cram school. At least this is the case until a father brings his son to the institute, who he thinks is a delinquent, to help him get better grades and enter a good university. I spent a good time watching this drama. I had a good laugh. Sometimes it gets even pretty emotional, and I think it's also a very motivational drama as well. Unfortunately, there are some flaws to it and some things that I don't necessarily like particularly, and I'm mostly going to address them in a spoil part. But what I can say is, first, I think it could be a bit of a problem for some people to actually enjoy the story or get into it because of the age difference of the two main characters. She is an adult, she is 31, and when she meets him, he is only 17. But if you're here and you haven't watched it yet, nothing illegal and very immoral happens, right? He is in his last year of high school, so he is 17, almost 18 when he meets her. So yeah, I guess to some people it could still feel a bit morally wrong, but to me it was not really a problem. Second thing, and I think also mentioning it isn't going to be a spoil because you can kind of deduce it from the poster, and it's written in some summaries online that the story is not even a triangle, it's a square. So yeah, I have a big problem already with triangles, so when I completely realized that it was a square, I was not really happy about it. Objectively, I think this square in this drama is actually not badly done. It's a pretty decent square in my opinion. But since I don't like it, even if it's decent, no. Maybe the only thing I could say against it is how Junko is way too oblivious. I can't really go more into details in the non-spoilery part, but she's a bit too oblivious and a bit too naive of everything around her. A bit is okay, but at a certain point it's not believable. But other than that, I actually really like Junko in this drama. I think that of all the characters, she is the one who gets the most development, personal development at least. I also feel like the relationships in this drama are not really well developed at all, but I will talk about that a bit later. But for Junko, I really like her. I really liked where she starts to where she ends up in the end. Also, she is just so cute and so pretty. I just found her so pretty. Her voice, tell me if someone noticed it too, but her voice really reminded me of Julia Roberts' voice. When I finally found the name of this very familiar voice, I couldn't help hearing it anymore. Watching the drama, it felt a bit like I was hearing Julia Roberts speaking Japanese, so it was a bit unsettling sometimes. And to finish on Junko real quick, I really enjoyed this trait, this habits she has of always calling Yuri by a different nickname every time and never settling for one. I mention it here because it's never really addressed in the drama of why she does that or why she can't just pick one nickname for him, and it's actually a trait in her that I really liked for some reason. I just found it so cute that she would always call him a different name every time she would see him, sometimes even in the same conversation. As for the other characters, Yuri is actually, I think, pretty cute. A very motivated kid who is really able to change his mind and really put himself into something completely. Because of that, the drama feels very, very satisfying. At least it is the case in my opinion, because you really see him start his journey really low. He has terrible, terrible grades. His level in school is really, really low. So you get to see his transformation from this place to this very high place it gets to go. You see his journey, you see him working very hard, studying a lot with her in cram school and also outside of cram school, and her really supporting him and actually bringing a lot more people around him so he can have a better peace of mind and a lot more support. So in my opinion, that was very, very satisfying to watch. Concerning the two other guys, who are her cousin and also a former high school classmate, as well as her best friend, all of them are very endearing, even if, of course, sometimes some of the two guys can be a bit annoying if you don't like triangles, squares, everything. But all of them are very, very endearing in my opinion. They all have their charms, their strong points, their weaknesses, and at the end of the day, they are just very decent people who actually also get to grow throughout the drama. So the first thing I want to mention is the parents from both sides, especially his dad and her mom, of course, her mom. Right off the bat in the drama, I really, really dislike them right away. I think it's the case for everyone else. Throughout the drama, you get to know them a bit more and why they act this way. And even if you can understand them, I still think at the end of the day, they are still very crap parents. Honestly, especially for Junko, in my opinion, I don't know how she is still able to be this sane and have still this amount of self-esteem and confidence. The drama shows that she lacks some of it, of course, but just imagine living this long with a mother treating you this way. I don't know if I would be able to do that. So the mom, at the end of the day, I still just couldn't really like her. She almost made me cry though. When she did cry at some point, it just lasted a few seconds, like 5 to 10 seconds. At the end, she gets to cry because she kind of realizes what she's done wrong and everything. And yeah, in like 5 seconds, I almost started to cry with her because I was really feeling her sadness and her regrets of what she had done. You understand where they are coming from, but in my opinion, it still doesn't mean that it was good to do, even if they thought it was the good thing to do. So yeah, at the end of the day, I still think pretty crap parents. Sorry, even if they grow to and have some development, I still wouldn't really want them as parents myself, so... And actually, the second little thing I wanted to mention is not even worth mentioning, I think, but guys, I really, really, really liked when Yuri came into the office of Junko when he's not allowed to, and he gets to hide under the desk when some other teachers come in. At some point, he kind of rests his head on her knees. Guys, listen, I don't know why, but this scene really triggered the butterflies in my stomach. I thought I was not going to mention it, but why not? It's a sweet little scene. Yeah, but that's it. Now I'm going to go really into why this drama disappointed me, so be ready. First, I have to mention that I don't watch much Japanese dramas anymore because to me they are a bit like anime. They never really give me what I want. I used to actually watch only Japanese dramas a very long time ago, as well as watching animes, but both of them always stop when I don't want it to stop. What I mean is both animes and dramas, Japanese dramas, end when the couple gets together. They kiss and it's the end. But to me, although it can sometimes not bother me, because I've seen other Japanese dramas who end the same style and it doesn't really bother me. But in this case, unfortunately, it really does bother me. At that time, I stopped watching Japanese dramas and I traded animes for reading mangas, because mangas always continue après. Because mangas always continues after the kiss. The anime stopped at the kiss, but the drama continues on and you see them in their relationship, you see them dating, and that's actually what I want to see more. And if you're in this part, well then you know that it doesn't happen in this drama. So very, very disappointed, because it feels like even if they are very cute, even if they have actually a very good chemistry, we don't have enough development of their relationship, especially from her side. From his side, you see pretty early on that he starts to have feelings for her and it keeps growing and growing. You see pretty early on, but for her, it kind of just comes at the end. Because for most of the drama, you're actually not sure if she's really going to finish with Yuri. You have this bit of, you're almost sure she's going to. But at the same time, they do a good job, making you think like, oh no, maybe she's going to finish with him or with him, So, yeah, the development on her side is not good enough, very lacking in my opinion. We don't see him in a romantic way enough, if at all actually, because at first she only sees him as a student, which he is, and also a kid because he's not yet 18. So she even says it herself. How could I have such impure thoughts? He is a kid. This would make me a criminal. She even mentions it herself. But because of that, it feels like there is no romance in this drama, because for most of the drama, she doesn't see it, then she refuses to see it, then she completely blinds herself, and then suddenly she realizes that she likes him too. She then starts her denial phase, and then she kind of regrets and she goes to him, and then the drama ends. But where's the romance? Give me the romance. So very disappointed that it ends this way. Because I don't know you guys, but I really wanted to see them go on a date. See how their life would balance with him in the Tokyo University and her working still as a teacher. How their two personalities and their age gap would kind of interact together. I wanted to see them be kind of sweet together, have very different interactions, rather than just having this kind of teacher-student interactions, And biggest point, I wanted to see how it was going to work out with the parents. I don't know, I feel like it's something you need to see, right? So because of all this, and I was so disappointed, I thought I was going to check the manga to see how it continues after. Indeed, the drama continues after this point. Well, I think it does, because the manga is still ongoing. It started being released in 2016, but it's not finished yet. Unfortunately, I don't think any Scantra team picked it up because it was impossible to find an English translation. I did find Spanish, so if you're Spanish and you're interested, you can go read it, but English I wasn't able to find it, which is a very big shame. So that's it. This is the biggest complaint I have about this drama, is not really being able to see them as a couple, even when they finally start to be one. But yeah, that's why I was disappointed, and hopefully I hope you were not yourself too disappointed about this outcome. But yeah, for me it was very sad, especially given how I was actually kind of invested in those characters and how likable they were, and how the story was actually pretty good and very entertaining. Anyway, that's it for me, that's it for this drama. I don't really have anything much to say. Overall, very good drama, very entertaining, enjoyable, with very endearing characters. Unfortunately, really not perfect for me, really lacks a lot of development in a certain department, like I mentioned in the spoil part. But it's still, like I said, a very enjoyable watch, and I would actually really recommend it if you haven't watched it. And on this, I'm going to finish this video and see you in the next one. Bye bye!